Yes, I want to show you how a brand new solar panel can be less expensive than a used solar panel. First, I just got a batch of 490 watt Halene. Is that how you pronounce it? So many of these solar panel manufacturer names are weird. Halene 490 watt solar panels. These massive guys. These are like 45 by 82 inches, which is a little smaller than the 525 watt bifacials I had earlier this year, last year. But these are like actually brand new from the factory. They're grade B. So this is the first thing that you can do in order to get a new panel to be less expensive than a used panel. You gotta have a few things that are in conjunction with each other to be able to make this work. What is grade B though? A grade B solar panel straight from the manufacturer is gonna be something with cosmetic flaws. So in the case of these solar panels, it could be misaligned cells back behind the glass. It could be caulking sitting on the glass or on the frame. It could be scratches on the frame. Nothing that affects performance, nothing that affects longevity. So functionally speaking, perfect panels. But the manufacturer is not going to deal with trying to scrape the caulk off, send it back through the anti-glare coating, all this stuff. They're just going to sell it off. It'll be a little bit of a discount and not deal with it anymore. So let's test this solar panel real quick, because that's what I always do when I get new solar panels in. Now I already ran this test and it was up at like 800 something watts a meter squared. The sun's in and out of the clouds. At the moment, there's a couple clouds up there. But this thing actually tested at, oh gosh, focus, there you go. Tested at 418 watts. You can see right there in the middle on the measured column. And if you see on the right hand side down here, 519 watts is what this unit is guessing that the standard test condition numbers would be. So it's actually testing at better than expected. So pretty slick. It's 53.7 degrees Celsius, the back of the panel is. So that's why it's reading so low. And it's also, it was at 800 something watts per meter squared. So this panel's doing amazing. It's pretty cool to see 420 watts, 418 watts out of a panel that's just been baking in the sun. Like that's so cool. I want to use this SolarWorld 240, which is definitely a premium used solar panel, as an example here. So if this thing's testing at 90%, let's assume 90%. A lot of these are actually better than 90%. At $70, that's a 216 watt panel for $70, which is about 32 cents a watt. So we'd have to be able to get a brand new panel for less than 32 cents a watt. Now, if we look at $220, I don't know if you can do the math in your head that quick, but that doesn't quite get there for one of these B grade panels. However, when you look at the federal tax credit for the United States, if you do have a tax burden, income tax burden, you can't affect that with used panels. With new panels, you can. I'm not your tax advisor. However, when I'm reading the tax code, it doesn't say anything about whether this is a DIY install, a professional install, whatnot. It's just that they're new equipment, right? So if you have new B grade solar panels, then you can get that 30% tax credit. And my understanding with the reasoning behind new versus used is they just don't want the same equipment to be getting the tax credit over and over again. So you buy used equipment, you get a tax credit, and then someone buys that used equipment off of you, and then they get a tax credit. So my understanding is that it's to avoid that. So with something like this, brand new from the manufacturer, like that's a shoe-in, that it's never been used, it's never been installed, never been racked, never been energized, other than to flash test it, or like me, putting it out there in the sun to test. So never had the tax credit applied to it. If you want an even better price than that 220, check out my website link below. Buy a pallet of them for even less than the 220. I can ship them across the country.